Most beginner gardeners don't fail because they can't grow tomatoes. They fail because they pick the wrong tomato before the plant ever touches soil. They buy the prettiest tag, the biggest promise, or some 90-day diva that needs a longer summer than their garden actually has. Then September shows up. The plant is huge, but the tomatoes are still green, and the gardener is standing there wondering what went wrong. What went wrong is simple. The tomato never matched the season, the space, the support system, or the harvest goal. Today we fix that. We're not collecting random tomato plants or drafting a tomato lineup. Welcome back to the Tomato Masterclass. In episode 1, we talked about timing and why short season gardeners can't treat May like the starting line for tomato seeds. Today is the next mistake, choosing the wrong variety. This isn't about memorizing every tomato name like you're studying for some weird gardening final exam. It's about learning how to test any tomato before you buy it. Because the best tomato isn't universal. Best for what? Short season, containers, sauce, sandwiches, a cattle panel jingle? Details matter. Annoying, but true. Before you buy a tomato plant, it needs to pass the 4-part match. Every tomato variety needs to match 4 things: your season length, your available space, your support system, and your harvest goal. If those things line up, you have a much better chance of getting a real harvest. If they don't line up, you might still grow a plant, but growing a tomato plant is not the same thing as harvesting tomatoes. That distinction matters. A giant healthy plant covered in green fruit right before frost isn't a success. It's just a very leafy disappointment. So the rule is simple. Match the plant to the garden you actually have, not the fantasy garden you designed in February while drinking coffee and ignoring reality. First checkpoint, season length, because if the tomato can't ripen in time, nothing else really matters. Days to maturity doesn't mean days from seed. That mistake wrecks tomato seasons. The first thing you check is days to maturity, not color, not size, not the glamorous tomato picture on the tag. The number controls the whole game. Days to maturity usually means roughly how long the plant takes to produce ripe fruit after transplanting, not after seed starting, after transplant. If a tomato says 75 days, that usually means about 75 days after a healthy transplant goes into the garden under certain decent growing conditions. And yes, decent growing conditions is doing a lot of work there. Cold soil, cool nights, transplant shock, weak sunlight, inconsistent watering, or poor soil can all slow the plant down. So that maturity date is not a stopwatch. It's a useful estimate. Build the main garden around early and mid-season varieties. Treat late-season tomatoes like bonus plants, not the backbone of the harvest. Now, for short-season gardeners, especially Zone 5 or similar climates, early and mid-season tomatoes are safer. Think roughly 55 to 75 days. Once you start getting into 80, 85, 90, or 100 days, you're gambling. Can it work? Sure. Is it how you build your whole season? No. That's asking September to be generous, and September isn't known for customer service. Once the tomato fits your season, the next question is how the plant grows. Determinate and indeterminate. Those tomatoes sound complicated. They aren't. A determinate tomato grows to a more limited size and usually produces a heavier, more concentrated harvest over a shorter period. These are often called bush tomatoes. Determinate tomatoes are usually easier to manage in containers, small raised beds, patios, and tight spaces. They need support, but usually not a giant trellis system built like a suspension bridge. An indeterminate tomato keeps growing and producing until frost, disease, heat stress, or neglect finally wins. These are vining tomatoes. They can get big, 6 feet, 8 feet, sometimes more. Plain version. Determinate is usually compact and predictable. Indeterminate is vining and longer producing, but it needs more space, more pruning, and stronger support. Don't plant an indeterminate tomato and then act personally betrayed when it tries to annex the neighbor's yard. That's what it was built to do. Small space or a beginner setup, Determinate is easier. Strong vertical support and more room, Indeterminate can work. Now we match that growth habit to your actual setup. Space and support together. A weak tomato cage isn't a support plan. It's a countdown to collapse. For containers, patios, balconies, and small urban gardens, look for words like container, patio, bush, dwarf, compact, and determinate. For small raised beds, determinate or manageable indeterminate tomatoes can work, especially with cages, stakes, or compact trellis support. For larger raised beds, cattle panels, string trellises, or strong vertical supports, larger indeterminate varieties become more realistic. But this is where honesty matters. Not optimism, honesty. How much room do you actually have? How big is the container? How much sun does that spot get? Are you actually going to prune and tie the plant all season? Or are you going to blink twice and suddenly the tomato is eating the walkway? Monster vines need real support. Teeny cages are not a strategy. Cherry tomatoes count. People underestimate them because the fruit is small. That's a trap. An indeterminate cherry tomato can become a green little chaos engine if you let it. Match the tomato to the space and the support before you plant it. The plant does not care about your intentions. It grows according to its genetics. Once the plant fits the setup, ask the question most gardeners skip. What do you actually want to harvest? If this is helping, follow the Tomato Masterclass playlist. I'm building the whole tomato system step by step. Timing, variety, seed starting, soil, watering, pruning, and harvest. What do you actually want to harvest? I want tomatoes is technically an answer. It's just not a useful one. If you want snacks, salads, and steady production, cherry or grape tomatoes are usually the easiest win. They produce early, produce heavily, and are forgiving compared to larger tomatoes. If you want sandwiches, burgers, and fresh slices, look for slicer tomatoes. These are your classic medium to large fresh eating tomatoes. If you want sauce, salsa, roasting, or preserving, look at paste tomatoes. Roma types and other paste varieties usually have denser flesh and less water, which makes them better for cooking down. If you want giant, dramatic slices, beefsteaks can be great. But many beefsteak types take longer to mature and may produce fewer fruits per plant. That doesn't make beefsteaks bad, it makes them a choice you need to understand. Big fruit, big payoff, sometimes slower timeline. Shocking, the tomato has terms and conditions. And then there are hybrids and heirlooms. Hybrids often bring reliability, disease resistance, productivity, and consistency. Heirlooms can bring amazing flavor, weird shapes, beautiful colors, and enough personality to require their own therapist. Pick the tomato for the harvest you actually want. Snacks, slices, sauce, preserving, or one fun dramatic wildcard. Now for the boring letters on the tag that might quietly save your season. Nobody walks into a garden center saying, "Hey, show me your first fusarium-resistant tomato." But honestly, maybe they should. Many tomato plant tags and seed packets include disease resistance codes. You may see letters like V, F, N, T, or other combinations. Codes can point to resistance against problems like verticillium wilt, fusarium wilt, nematodes, tobacco mosaic virus, and other diseases. You don't need to memorize every code on day one, but you should understand the basic idea. Disease resistance does not mean invincible. It means better odds. For beginner gardeners, better odds matter, especially if your garden is humid, crowded, reused year after year, or has had tomato disease problems before. Use disease resistance codes to improve your odds, but still practice good watering, airflow, spacing, and cleanup. Now we turn the whole episode into a buying checklist. Before you buy any tomato plant, Ask these 4 questions. Question 1. How long is my growing season? Know your last frost date and your first frost date. That gives you your frost-free window. Question 2. Does this variety fit comfortably inside that window with a buffer? If the answer is no, set it down, walk away. The seed packet will survive the rejection. Question 3. Can I support this plant properly? Compact plants need less support. Big vines need real structure. Cute cages are not a personality trait. Question 4. What do I actually want to harvest? Snacks, slicers, sauce, big dramatic tomato slabs for sandwiches? The answer tells you what type to buy. If it doesn't fit the window, the support, or the job, skip it. So, what does a beginner lineup actually look like? Beginner tomato gardeners should build a lineup, not buy 6 random plants. A smart beginner tomato lineup might include 1 early cherry tomato for fast snacks and early confidence, 1 reliable slicer for sandwiches and fresh eating, 1 paste tomato if you want sauce, salsa, roasting, or preserving, 1 compact determinate tomato if you're growing in containers, patio, or tight spaces, and 1 fun experiment. Maybe an heirloom, maybe a weird color, maybe something big and dramatic, but 1 experiment, not the whole garden. Your first season should be built around reliability. Then you experiment from there. That gives you production, variety, and 1 fun wild card without turning the entire season into a science fair project with emotional consequences. Reliability first, experiment second. Now bring it home. The right tomato gives you a better season before you ever dig the hole. So before you plant, pause. Read the tag, check the maturity date, check the growth habit, check the support needs, check disease resistance, then ask what you actually want to harvest. The goal isn't to grow the most interesting tomato plant. The goal is to harvest tomatoes. The right variety gives you a better season before you ever dig the hole. The wrong variety can waste months. And if you're gardening in a short season, don't let a 90-day diva steal your summer. In the next episode, we're going to get into seed starting and what goes wrong in the first 2 weeks before most beginners even notice. Stay curious, keep showing up, and don't overthink it. Let's get after it. See you in the garden.